The NFL free agent quarterback Kyler Murray and the Vikings have agreed to a one-year, $1.3 million deal. The former #1 overall pick was released by the Cardinals after 7 seasons. Arizona will still pay him $35.5 million this year. He was limited to just 5 games last season because of a foot injury. The deal comes with a no-tag clause, which will allow Murray to enter free agency after the 2026 season. Here's Murray on what it means to sign with the team he grew up rooting for.
I'm just grateful for the opportunity. I look forward to coming in and competing, getting to learn the offense, getting to be with Coach O'Connell. Obviously, he's had a lot of success, and again, I'm just looking forward to the opportunity to come in here and competing. Ever since I started playing tackle football, I was 7 years old. Genuine fandom. Ran deep, Vikings gear through and through. A lot of purple in my household. I don't want to bring it up right now, but maybe later, another day. It was a moment. I'll bring it up anyways. Whatever. I cried real tears whenever Brett threw that interception. I cried real tears that day.
Kyler Murray now playing for the team he grew up rooting for. Look at that. It's pretty cool. How'd he get in a Vikings sweatshirt so quick? That's technology for you. Skull for Kyler Murray. Now going to look to get a fresh start here in Minneapolis with the Vikings. Welcome in 2-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden. Also, I should say, Nostradamus as well. He predicted this when Kyler Murray was released, that he would end up with the Vikings. So, B-Mac, you like the fit for sure here in Kevin O'Connell's offense. What does this mean for now J.J. McCarthy as Kyler Murray potentially comes in as QB1?
Well, 2 things, right? You said eventually potentially being QB1. We don't know exactly what was discussed throughout this visit with Kyler Murray that led to him signing with the Minnesota Vikings. Was he told he would be QB1, or was he told it would be a quarterback competition, right? We don't know. I think we have to wait and see how it plays out. But regardless, if it's the latter, if it's a quarterback competition, I visualize Kyler Murray winning that competition. I think this would be the same situation, Hakeem, that we saw a year ago with the Indianapolis Colts when they brought in Daniel Jones, and they made it known that it would be a quarterback competition between Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. And however it played out, at the end of the day, Daniel Jones won that job. So if that's the case for Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy, I visualize Kyler Murray winning that job. But if it's not the case, if they're just giving him the keys to the car right now, I'm okay with that as well, because I look at Kyler Murray's entire professional career outside of what we saw last year in the injury-plagued year. He's a more talented quarterback than J.J. McCarthy, and that's no knock on J.J. McCarthy, but J.J. McCarthy hasn't really got a chance to kind of get his feet wet because of injuries. And then when he's been in the lineup, he's been inconsistent. But Kyler Murray has shown the ability to be very, very productive in the National Football League. He's shown the ability to be able to put your teams in positions to win ball games. So if you put him with a guy like Kevin O'Connell, who has shown great coaching ability, got the best out of Kirk Cousins, got the best out of Sam Darnold, and in a small sample size. You remember when Joshua Dobbs was in a Minnesota Vikings uniform and how we just saw flashes of really, really good play from Joshua Dobbs? Well, that was under Kevin O'Connell, right? So when you look at those situations and how Kevin O'Connell was able to get the best out of those experienced quarterbacks, not young quarterbacks, but experienced quarterbacks, I can see the same storyline happening for Kyler Murray.
Well, you talk about how this will impact this team, and we always talk about how Justin Jefferson is quarterback proof, but he didn't have a whole lot of touchdown catches last season, did have over 1,000 yards receiving, but now he gets a quarterback that can sling it, extend plays with his legs when healthy. How will this impact Justin Jefferson? Because we could have a dynamic duo here in the Vikings season here coming up here in 2026.
Man, get ready for Justin Jefferson to put up the video game-like numbers that we've seen throughout his early career. Yeah, you talked about a down year for Justin Jefferson, but he still had over 1,000 yards receiving. 1,048, I think, to be exact. 1,040. That was a career low for him. He had a career low in receiving touchdowns than only 2. Remember in 2023 when he only played 10 games, he had more receiving touchdowns than what we saw last year, and he had more receiving yards in less games. So clearly there was a disconnect between the quarterbacking and Justin Jefferson living up to the heroic ability that we know he has. So if you're Justin Jefferson, you have an experienced quarterback, right, that has shown the ability to open things up with his arms. You have to be elated right now. Not to mention, what about TJ Hawkinson, who they have back in the fold as well? We know what he can provide at the tight end position, and the same can be said for Jordan Addison. And I'll say this with Kyler Murray, Hakeem, when you look at this entire offensive infrastructure they have there in Minnesota, this is better than what he's ever had in Arizona in terms of just the collective bodies, right? Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, and 2 bookend tackles in O'Neal and Christian Darrisaw, especially when Christian Darrisaw is healthy. He's one of the top guys at the left tackle position in the National Football League. So you have to like everything that will be surrounding Kyler Murray for him to be at his best. But my initial point, Justin Jefferson is still him at the wide receiver position. Don't get it twisted. And I expect for Justin Jefferson to get back into that gritty mode where we're seeing a lot of grittying happen with touchdown celebrations.
Vikings got hot at the end of the season, won 5 in a row. They still have a nice pick in the first round, 18th overall. The deal for Kyler Murray comes with a no-tag clause, allowing him to become a free agent after this year. B-Mac, do you like his chances of cashing in much like Sam Darnold did?
No question. Or much like Daniel Jones. And oh, by the way, don't forget, Daniel Jones had a small cup of coffee in Minnesota, right? He didn't play at all, but he was there in the building. So yes, if you're Kyler Murray, and that's why I said what I said March the 2nd or March the 3rd, that this would be the best fit for Kyler Murray. When we heard that Arizona will eventually release him, is because look at the road that has been traveled by experienced quarterbacks that have went to Skol Nation. Most recently, Sam Darnold. But the same can be said for Daniel Jones, right? So that's why he has that language, Hakeem, in his contract, because he believes under the coaching of Kevin O'Connell, with the guys that are surrounding him on the offense, he is going to do numbers. You talked about how they finished the season, winning 5 straight. Is that what you said, right? 5 straight, right? 5 straight with best case scenario, average quarterback play. He believes he can provide them that level of play that would get them into that competitive conversation, most importantly, playoff conversation. So if those things happen, especially seeing what just happened with Daniel Jones, no question, there will be suitors knocking at his door for him to become a QB1 legit and also be paid as one. So no question, Kyler Murray sees the vision. He just needs to stay healthy and just stay the course with Kevin O'Connell, and everything else will work itself out.
Vikings win total set at 8.5 this season, B-Mac. Do you think a healthy, the operative word there, a healthy Kyler Murray leads Minnesota to 9 wins?
You know what? I think for me, Hakeem, to be determined, because they still have some questions that needs to be answered with their roster. You talked about the draft. You know, they still have a little cap space left to maybe improve their team. But one thing I can say, right, about Kevin O'Connell, Hakeem, when he's had serviceable quarterback play, he's won ball games. And if you're telling me Kyler Murray will be the guy, and I believe Kyler Murray will give them more than just serviceable quarterback play, I'll take the over. Because also, remember who is the DC for the Minnesota Vikings, right? Brian Flores. And we know what type of hell he causes opposing offenses when he sees those offenses any given Sunday, Monday, or Thursday. So that defense will still be extremely feisty and competitive. So if I had to give you my early prediction, I got to take the over. I think that 8 is a very, very intriguing number, Hakeem. It's intriguing, especially when you talk about some of the uphill battles they had a year ago. But I think just having Kyler Murray in the fold with those wide receivers and, you know, having Aaron Jones back, even though they might make an addition or 2 in the backfield, and that offensive line being healthy, I'll take the over right now. And that's saying a lot, Hakeem, because I do believe the NFC North, the old black and blue division, once again will be one of the more competitive divisions in the National Football League. But Kevin O'Connell can coach some football. He's shown all of us that. So I think with Kyler Murray, the over might be the best bet right now with the Minnesota Vikings.
To use your words, no question. I love it, B-Mac.
No,
two-time Super Bowl champ. He predicted this. A good fit here for Kyler Murray, says Bryant McFadden, as Kyler Murray heads to Minnesota to play for the team he grew up rooting for. B-Mac, thank you. And it's a one-year deal for Kyler Murray, $1.13 million. And he's going to still get a $35.5 million from the Arizona Cardinals. As you now take a look at the top remaining free agents on the board, plenty of names unsigned. When a player signs a contract or a player is traded, we will have instant reaction right here on CBS Sports HQ. You can also check out the NFL free agent tracker on CBSSports.com for full free agency coverage.